In the 2020-2021 service year, 55,670,584 cedis and 32 pesos was siphoned. In the 2022-2023 service year, this is the one that is more surprising and very shocking, 350,926,977 cedis and 7 pesos were lost. No, 12 pesos was lost to the state. And then for the 2023-2024 service year, 32,881,157 and 7 pesos was lost to the Republic. In total, as I stated, we lost over 548 million Ghana cedis to the criminal enterprise perpetrated by these executives, these directors and staff, as well as the service providers in the marketplace. The criminal enterprise that resulted in the loss of this colossal sum of money to the state involved by some directors and staff, which they subsequently exploited to misappropriate state funds for their personal gain. This they did in direct collaboration with vendors and other accomplices. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, our investigations have revealed that prior to the commencement of each new service year, the directors would submit to Parliament for approval a budget figure representing the number of prospective service personnel for that particular service year. Consequently, or consistently, these figures were inflated by huge numbers. During the fiscal year, the directors will write to the Minister of Finance requesting permission to utilize excess funds allocated in the budget of the National Service Authority. Once authorized, the directors will transfer the funds into NSA's project account at the Agricultural Development Bank, and under the pretext of executing projects, will divert the funds into private pockets. Another criminal scheme hatched and exploited by the directors and staff is the deployment of ghost names onto the NSA system. Once deployed, the directors will then request that both ghost names and genuine names be transmitted by the head of accounts to the Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement Systems, that is GIPS, for payment. These payments included payments to Eastwich cardholders procured for the fictitious national service personnel. Our investigations compared monthly data of verified national service personnel generated from the central management system and submitted to the NSA accounts office, and the data of the NSA personnel who were actually paid through the gift system for a period of 6 years. That is from 2018 to 2024. It was established that a total of 587,543 personnel were to be submitted to GIPS for payment of allowances. Meanwhile, data from GIPS showed that a total of 650,165 personnel were paid, indicating that 63,672 constituted ghost names. These consisted of the following categories of personnel. That is, national service personnel who were blocked on the CMS system during the registration process. Then national service personnel numbers that exist in the payment records but do not exist on the central management system. And then, of course, NSA or national service volunteers, and then some management staff and marketplace vendors. Fellow countrymen and women, our investigators additionally established that some of the ghost names were added to the list submitted by vendors, representing the number of service personnel to whom they had supplied items or provided loan facilities, allegedly. When these vendors eventually received the payments, the directors and staff would then contact the vendors whose accounts had received payments, meet with them, and collect the additional money that had been added to the vendors' payments. For instance, we have conclusively established that After collecting these funds, some of the suspects, such as Gezi, Nyako, and Othing, handed them over to suspect Osei Asibe Entry in cash, and on some occasions deposited the cash into his bank account. Osei Asibe was the chief executive, the director general of the National Service Authority. Some directors, such as Gifty Oware-Mensah, created and executed a meticulously detailed plan using NSP, National Service Personnel Allowances, as security to obtain a loan of 30,698,218 cedis, 69 pesos, from the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB, at an interest rate of 23%. She achieved these results by using other people's information to register a company called Blocks of Life Consult without their knowledge or permission. Subsequently, she presented Blocks of Life Consult through in the person of Agricultural Development Bank, and listing her husband, Mr. Peter Mensah, a lawyer, to act as one of the directors or representative of the said company. She told ADB that the company specialized in supplying home appliances to national service personnel and proposed that ADB finance the company to enable it to supply these items on hire purchase basis to the service personnel, with the NSA being responsible for handling deductions and repayments. During the period, Gifty was the acting director, Gifty Oware-Mensah was the acting director of the authority. However, on the marketplace of the authority, there was no indication that Blocks of Life was a registered vendor. Within 2 service years, suspect Gifty Oware-Mensah used a total of 9,934 ghost names to misappropriate the aforementioned funds. Investigation further established that after ADB transferred the funds into the account of the company, she subsequently transferred the funds into 4 different company accounts with the names of Amiacom, Scaffold, Oche, and Aristo Logistics and Trading. It was further established that suspect Gifty is a director of Amiacom, and Scaffold Company Limited belongs to suspect Abraham Gezi. That between 3rd March 2023 and 24th May 2024, suspect Gifty transferred 22,925,518 Ghana cedis and 69 pesos to Amiacom, 1 million Ghana cedis to Scaffold, 1,572,000 Ghana cedis to Oche, and 5,200,000 Ghana cedis to Aristo Logistics and Training. We have this on record. We have all the bank details. We have everything, in the docket. Investigations, however, established that Eric Nyako, from 2017 until April 2024, and Idrisu Ibn Abubakar, April 2024 to December 2024, were responsible for preparing and transmitting NSP payroll data to GIPS for payment of allowances with the approval of the former NSA Director Generals, Mustafa Yusuf, who is now an MP, Gifty Oware-Mensah, acting from February 2021 to September 2021, and Osei Asibe Entry, September 2021 to January 2025. Without their explicit authority, nothing was possible. In other words, all these transfers could not have taken place without the authorization of the chief executive officers and or the director general, depending on the nomenclature that was used to describe their roles. In the 2022-2023 service year, a total of 8,256,000 Ghana cedis was deposited into an eSwitch account numbered 1177042059, which is registered in the name of suspect Osei Asibe. Investigations showed that he personally received these funds. During a search at his residence, the aforementioned e-switch card was found, and we intend to tender it in evidence during the course of the trial. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, our investigations further revealed that another suspect, Haruna Maulaya of Al-Faida Ventures, a vendor in the marketplace, received a total of 21,306,272 Ghana cedis and 43 pesos into his account from 2017 to 2024. Suspect Rose Hamilton of Marine Ventures received a total of 50,750,923 Ghana cedis, 15 pesos into her account from 2017 to 2024. Suspect Isaac Asamani of Option Buy Ventures received a total of 11,458,686 Ghana cedis, 90 pesos into his account from 2027 to 2024. A total payment of 167,554,398 cedis and 50 pesos was made into the account of a savings and loan company, a savings and loan entity between 2019 and 2024. Suspect Sylvia Opari of Silsona, the names of the companies are very interesting. Silsona Ventures received a total payment of 10,746,634 Ghana cedis and 41 pesos into her account from 2021 to 2024. Suspect Jacob Yorsin of Inyasampo Ventures received a total payment of 19,199,638 Ghana cedis and 57 pesos into his account from 2021 to 2024. Suspects Philomena Atta and Stephen Kobina Jemfi of Brainwave Ventures received a total of 17,646,523 Ghana cedis and 80 pesos into their accounts from 2021 to 2024. Suspect Solomon Jomina of Alpharita Ventures received a total payment of 8,236,019 cedis and 67 pesos into his account from 2021 to 2024. Suspect Charles Aheming of GHC Ventures received a total payment of 14,235,118 Ghana cedis and 14 pesos into his account from 2022 to 2024. Suspect Kweku Opare Agofa and Prince Agofa Awoku of Fralisa Ventures received a total payment of 9,011,164 and 35 Ghana cedis into their accounts from 2023 to 2024. However, none of the aforementioned vendors provided evidence to the investigative team or to myself to prove that the amounts of money they received corresponded to the items supplied or the loans supposedly made to the National Service personnel. Ladies and gentlemen of the media and my fellow countrymen and women, having concluded our investigations, we'll be filing charges against 12 suspects who worked as directors and staff of the NSA. I've already listed them, but for the abundance of doubt, let me mention them again. These are Mustafa Yusuf, a former executive director; Osea Sibe Entry, former director general; Gifty Oware-Mensah, former deputy executive director; Kweku Ohinijan, former deputy executive director for operations; Abraham Bismarck Gezi, former internal auditor; Kweku Dechi Eje, an accounts officer; Idrusu Ibn Abubakar, former head of accounts; Stephen Kobina Jemfi, who is, I've asked that he should be rearrested because we've discovered some new accounts that, contain some deposits, and so he was picked up this morning. So he is currently he's undergoing further interrogation. Koforidua, he's the Koforidua director, then Prince Agbofa Ewuku, a district director, and Jacob Yorsin, management information systems administrator in the northern region. We will also file charges against the following persons who are vendors on the marketplace on the central management system of the NSA in the eastern, Greater Accra, and Ashanti regions. Isaac Osei Asamani, the owner of Stalwart Option Buy Ventures. Charles Ohomening, the owner of GH Ventures. Philomena Arthur, the owner of Brainwave Ventures. Rose Hamilton, the owner of Marine Ventures. Kweku Opare Agbofa, the owner of Franlisa Ventures. Solomon Jamina, the owner of Afarita Ventures. Haruna Mawulaya, the owner of Alfaida Enterprise. Sylvia Ntriwa Opare, the owner of Silsona Ventures. And then Peter Mensah, a legal practitioner and the husband of Gifty Oware-Mensah. We have made the decision to enter into non-prosecution agreements with some of the persons who were involved in this criminal enterprise, especially the vendors, and these have agreed to provide compelling testimonies as witnesses for the prosecution. In this regard, we have agreed not to disclose their names or their details at this press briefing as part of the NPA, that is a non-prosecution agreement. Because this is going to inure to the efficiency of the prosecutions that will be mounted. And in every prosecutorial decision making, we have the discretion to take decisions that will inure to the benefit of the Republic. And we have decided in the office, together with the investigators, that some of the marketplace vendors and some other directors and staff who came to us may be serving as prosecution witnesses. Some of them offered to be prosecution witnesses, and we rejected their offers. They came, met with my deputy, we evaluated the evidence and thought that it will be inimical to the entire prosecutorial enterprise if we accepted their offers to serve as prosecution witness. So given the numbers that we're offering to serve as witnesses, it can tell you where we are headed with this investigation. And when the trial starts, with this prosecution, when the trial starts, you will get to know the evidence that we have meticulously gathered from February, when I took over the oral report and handed them over to NIB, to the present. Having provided this factual background, our position is clear that these persons are reasonably suspected to have committed crimes and shall be charged accordingly with the following crimes: stealing, contrary to section 1241 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29. Conspiracy to steal, contrary to sections 23(1) and 124(1) of the Criminal and Other Offences Act. Willfully causing financial loss to the state, contrary to section 179A(3)(a) of the Criminal and Other Offences Act. Using public office for profit, contrary to section 179CA of the Criminal and Other Offences Act. Obtaining public property by false statements, contrary to section 5 of the Public Property Protection Decree 1977, SMCD 140. Money laundering, contrary to section 1, subsection 2C of the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2020, Act 1044, and conspiracy to commit money laundering, contrary to section 3 of the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2020, Act 1020. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, as part of the oral agenda, I have ordered that a comprehensive investigation of the assets of these persons be conducted. That investigation is ongoing, and we shall be pursuing the suspect to retrieve funds attributable to them and assets they have acquired using those funds. So I want to thank you very much once again for covering this press conference. God bless you. Yeah. Oh, okay.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Attorney General. The floor is now open for some questions from members of the media. So as we do it, if you have a question, please put your hand up. I'll call you, you come forward, ask it, and then it will be answered. Each person is entitled to only one question in the interest of time. Alfred, I thought I saw your hand up. Please come. So if you have a question, just come forward and ask it, please. So this way, yeah. Please come. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Alfred Okanse. I work with Media Journal, TV3,
I need
3
you to
FM.
Forward so that the
Okay.
press can capture you. Yeah.
First off, you earlier mentioned at the previous conference that there was a member of parliament who was contracted to, as it were, kill the story of this NSS scandal in the media. Any updates on that said member of parliament? Because I didn't hear anything in this updates that you gave. And the second one is that I get the point that you have put together all of these persons as well. Any indication of when prosecution will start? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alfred. There was a second gentleman. Yes, please go ahead. Please step forward.
All right. My name is Job Kwabena Labuja. I work with the Tobinco Media Group, Bullet TV. Alfred asked my first question, which has to do with when are we going to see them being charged. And my concern is the mode of operation by the current Attorney General, which is your office. Many have argued that why come out to tell us all this when you can just go to court and then come and tell us what they have been charged with, and then we can all have confidence that we are really committed to dealing with this matter. That if you can respond to that for us, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions, please? All right, please step forward. Anybody who has a question. In the interest of time, we need to manage it.
Thank you very much. My name is Mutala Inusa. I work with the IB Network, GH1 TV, and Star FM. Honorable, my question is in respect of those suspects that you decided to accept their proposals and those that you do not accept. What specific criteria goes into whose offer do you accept and whose offer do you reject? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name is Joyce Danso. I write for the Ghana News Agency. I want the Attorney General to educate us on what exactly is non-prosecution agreement and then plea bargaining agreement. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Please go ahead. Ask your question.
Thank you for your brilliant presentation. To be very honest, if I knew you were going to talk about this program, a national service, I wouldn't have struggled all the way from Committee 25 to this place. But I came here purposely because of what was published on Aura. Because we have, as an organization, made a petition to Aura and written a letter to you. My name is Solomon Kwawukume.
Excuse me, sir. If it is not related to national service, I would ask you to hold on. After this session, the Attorney General will grant you audience to listen to the specific petition that you have so that we can use the time judiciously. Thank you very much. So you may resume your seats.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so we'll take one last question in this round, after which the Attorney General will provide answers. Please help me.
Thank you very much. My name is Jude Duncan from City FM Channel 1 TV. In February this year, the president mentioned that the assets of suspects in the national service scandal had been frozen. In this very press briefing, you mentioned that their assets will be, sort of monitored. Your conclusion. I want updates as to whether indeed their assets have been frozen or whether you are still just, monitoring their financial flow. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the Attorney General will answer these questions.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your very wonderful, questions. The question in relation to the member of parliament who was, in the center of the investigation. There are two members of parliament who were investigated in this scandal. One was a former chief executive officer, that is the Honorable Mustafa Yusuf. And so in his case, we basically had the evidence, relating to actions that he had taken as the executive officer, and then we interrogated him. In the case of the famous A+, the investigation is still ongoing, and there are talks with him with respect to the role that he will play, either in respect of providing evidence against those who tried to do what is alleged to have been done, or if at the end of the day no agreement is reached, then maybe he will have to stand trial. That is where we are with respect. So the investigations are ongoing. We haven't concluded with him yet. The investigators were supposed to go to Parliament and do the interrogation in Parliament, and at the last time that they made a request, they could not do the interrogation. Now, in terms of the timing of prosecution, there have been a number of developments that came in very late. So as late as yesterday in the evening, we met in the office with one of the principal actors who is offering, to provide us with evidence. In other words, the person wants a non-prosecution, agreement. So we've asked that the lawyer should, she should go, and she and the lawyers should go and then bring the proposal for us to examine and then see what, what can be done. Okay, so we are thinking that in the next 2 weeks, we will be able to evaluate all of those proposals, including the fact that suspect James was rearrested. We'll have to look into the additional accounts, and then in the next 2 weeks, we can deal with all those issues, and by the first week of July, we should be filing charges against them. Now, someone asked, why the press briefing? This is a perennial question that I get all the time. The detractors of oral, that is those who do not want or are not enamored of the oral agenda, would usually say that this is persecution, a persecution of the suspects in the media, or prosecution of the suspects in the media. Now, the United States of America is one of the world's oldest democracy, okay? And U.S. prosecutors, district attorneys, or even the Attorney General of the United States of America, when they conclude investigations, they brief the press on their findings. Sometimes they file the charges and come out of the courtroom to brief the press on the charges that have been filed. There is nothing absolutely wrong with this. So those who think that accounting to the people, if you look at the meaning of the word accountability simply means to explain one's actions. And so we have a duty to account to the people of this country. And so when I'm taking prosecutorial decisions, I need to account to the people of our country for the decisions that I take. So this is the whole essence of the exercise. And especially within the context of oral, we don't want any situation where we file charges and then we are being told that we have just decided to persecute people because of their political leanings. In all the press briefings that I have done, I have not mentioned or connected any political party to the actions of the people that, you know, I arrest and investigate. Okay? So the idea of doing this is not in order to make any political party look bad or any faction in our Ghanaian politics look bad. What we are doing is simply to account to the people of this country. And it doesn't matter how many times it is said, I will continue to account to the people of this country through the press briefings that we, the press engagements that we do from time to time. Then what are the criteria for an MPA? And then somebody asked, what is the difference between an MPA, that is a non-prosecution agreement, and a plea bargain? A non-prosecution agreement is an aspect of the plea bargain. A plea bargain is simply a negotiation between the prosecutor and a person suspected of the commission of a crime, okay, that may turn out to achieve a number of objectives. Okay, so sometimes you drop the charges in exchange for the payment of a fine or a penalty. Sometimes you drop the charges so that that person will serve as a witness, and because the person was proximate to the commission of the crime, they will have information that is compelling enough to prove your charges for you. All right? So we do plea bargaining, and one of the outcomes of a plea bargain may be an MPA, that is a non-prosecution agreement. Okay, so that means that when we sign the non-prosecution agreement, we usually would immunize that person, grant that person indemnity from prosecution on certain conditions, or, you know, sometimes unconditionally. Okay, so it is guided by, you know, some, considerations in the context of the prosecution itself or the criminal justice system. And by the way, in Ghana, we have the Plea Bargain Act, which is an amendment to Act 30 that allows the Attorney General to enter into a plea deal. And by the way, just by way of public information, I have never, okay, and I want to repeat that, I have never approached anybody who is under prosecution now or who will be prosecuted for a plea deal. I've seen on social media allegations that I charge someone and then subsequently I'm asking the person for a plea deal. I'm always in my office quietly and they send people to come to me and then seek, you know, audience as to whether I am amenable to a plea deal. All right. And until such a time that we achieve the plea deal, we normally don't announce it, you know, to the public. So that is what a bargain is. And then the MPA can be a result. That is, the non-prosecution agreement can be the result of plea negotiations. The last question was with respect to what His Excellency, the President, said regarding the freezing of assets. What if we froze were their bank accounts? All right? What we froze were their bank accounts, okay? But they may have other assets, such as houses, okay, apartment blocks, cars, and so on, okay? Those are the subject matter of the investigation that is taking place now. And as I said in the first, press conference, which was on the Kwabena Edubohe, investigation, I said we normally do contemporaneous investigation of the criminal enterprise, as well as the, asset recovery. All right. So we are using the same approach now, but with this one, it is slower because of the fact that, you know, if once we begin the prosecution, you will understand that they were doing mostly cash transactions. Okay, someone will go and take the cash from the bank and then go and give it to one of the directors or one of the staff, and so on and so on and so forth. Okay, so unlike the previous investigation where the documentary trail was very easy and then led us to certain assets that the person owned. because some of them were owned by his companies and so on. In this case, it is a bit different. That is why we have frozen the financial assets, that is the accounts, but we are still doing the investigation with respect to houses, cars, and so on. I hope that makes it very clear for the person who wanted to know the difference between what His Excellency said and then what I said in my press briefing. Thank you.
Yeah, so if there are any, please come forward. If there are any other questions, we will take them in this round, after which we will draw down the curtains on this session. So please identify yourself and ask your question.
My name is Clement from the Fourth Estate.
Your full name, please.
Clement Edward Kumsa from the Fourth Estate. The team want to find out, during our investigations, management said it's only Ghana card that can be used to validate a national service personnel on their platform. It appears the platform was easily manipulated and the ghost names were uploaded. We want to find out, in your prosecution, are those the developers of the platform parts or those you are prosecuting?
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions, please? Okay.
My name is Benis Bese. I report for the Chronicle, and I'm also a court reporter. We've seen the Dr. Opunin prosecution, how it went. It took almost 7 years. What is the timeline for this prosecution? Are we going to see it traveling or going on the long haul like 7 years, or the 4 years will go by when this prosecution has not ended? Because we've heard something that they are going to frustrate the case.
All right, thank you. Please pass it on to the next question.
My name is Vanessa Edotum-Boateng.
Please come forward. Step forward. Yeah.
My name is Vanessa Edotum-Boateng. I'm with Ignite Media Metro TV. So my question is, this is a lot of money, over 548 million. Are we going to recover all these monies? And it wouldn't just be that people are prosecuted, probably they go to jail, and that's it, because it's a lot of money and it can do a lot of things for the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that will be it for the questions in this round, which is the final round, I must indicate. Honorable Attorney General, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the questions. The first one relates to the IT system and its vulnerability to manipulation. You are right about the fact that the IT system, from all that we have gathered, has been very, vulnerable and has been manipulated to foster the criminal enterprise that I am describing today. Now, the question whether the IT, the developer will be prosecuted is, for me, it's not a question that we should be asking. The reason is simply because it's a contractual, issue. Okay, so they have developed a system. If there are vulnerabilities in the system or it is deficient and is not fit for purpose, that's a contractual issue, and we can take that up and then sue them because the system was not fit for purpose. Now, if in the course of that we discover, for instance, that they deliberately set it up to be manipulated in this manner, then we can say that they are accomplices. Okay, but in the current circumstances, the IT management personnel who were the ones who manipulated the system for purposes of fostering the criminal enterprise are the ones that we are concentrating on now. Then the timeline for prosecution. Well, I have my prosecutorial plan laid out, okay? And I'm keenly aware of what defense lawyers can do, okay? I was, for many years, a defense lawyer myself, so I know their tricks, all right? If you remember the famous Tagore case, I was the one who freed Tagore together with Kisi Ajabing from prison. So I know what to look for, what defense lawyers look for in, any prosecution. If you picked up, thank you for the intelligence that you have picked up, that they say that they and their lawyers will frustrate me. I have plans in place to avoid frustration. Okay? I know what I am doing. And together with my able deputy, we will make sure that the people of this country, because if they frustrate me, they are frustrating the people of this country. And as one of the questioners, said, 548 million is a lot of money. In fact, the president is thinking of a Accra-Kumasi expressway that will make it possible for, commuters to travel within, an hour to Kumasi. That 548 million, in my estimation, could have built that expressway. So yes, it is a lot of money, and that is why we are going to take the prosecution really very seriously. Look, if you have had 8 million Ghana cedis lodged into your account from public funds, and you say you frustrate the prosecutor, how are you going to do that? Supposing he didn't know, that's a different matter altogether. Or if you have your companies and public monies are flowing through your companies, and you cannot tell the prosecutor why those monies were being transferred to your company and they were being used for private purposes, and you say you frustrate the prosecutor. Well, they should come with all the technicalities in the world. We are waiting for them. We are waiting for them in the courtroom. This is going to be a different ball game altogether. I'm not bragging, but it's going to be a different ball game altogether. So we will do our best, and thereafter, as for recovery, is an integral part of our strategy. Recovery is an integral part of our strategy. All right? The meaning of oral is Operation Recover or Loot. And so once we institute a prosecution in the context of oral, recovery is an integral part of it. We are not going to, leave any stone unturned. Can we recover everything? We may not be able to recover everything, but we will certainly recover funds for this republic and for public use. So I thank you very much. God bless all of you, and see you at the next press briefing. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Please resume your seats. Excuse me. Okay. All right, so thank you very much for attending upon us.